What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. In today's video, we're going to be doing the full playthrough of Treasure Map Lore, which is now live on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. Make sure to go ahead and farm this up, because Treasure Map Lore is a very, very good character to go ahead and max out. So briefly, I want to go over him really quickly, just so you guys know what he does. His special ability is the main component that we're going to be talking about here. He does so many different things, maxing out at 8 turns after Limit Break and max skill. Deals 30 times his attack in strength damage to one enemy, reduces bind and despair by 2 turns, which is very, very key, and also changes his own orb and adjacent orbs into matching orbs. He adds 0.7 to the chain multiplier for 1 turn, and on top of that, he reduces the cooldowns of Slasher, Fighters, Cerebrals, and Free Spirit characters by 1 turn. What an amazing special ability for only being on an 8-turn cooldown, and also having the ability with his crewmate effect to reduce characters' special reverse by 2 turns. So whenever you're in a situation where you do get your character specials rolled back, this is one of the best subunits to roll your character specials back, because not only do you do that, but he adds a lot of other beneficial effects on top of that, and on top of that as well, he also has the ability of recovery, bind resistance, and he also has the own special charge time, reducing his cooldown by 6 turns. So that means if you have max cooldown sockets, he will be ready to go on turn 1. This character is definitely a character you guys should be going to max out. He's going to be useful, especially if you guys are planning to try and get Carrot when she ever arrives on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. Lore is one of the best subs for Carrot specifically. But now that we've gone ahead and done that, let's actually jump into it. So right now I'm at navigation level 12, so we're going to be doing the playthrough of my teams that I currently am using for this treasure map. Now, I already have reached over 5 million points. I literally just recorded all of my ticket pulls. You guys will be seeing that after the end of the treasure map once we get our rewards, but it's definitely not as good as last treasure map where I pulled Jinbei on my early tickets. Definitely not as good as that, so you guys will be seeing those later on. Nothing really to note, you know, I didn't get anything really that good anyway. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first of all, always pick up the treasure mode bird whenever you enter the map, as when you do pick it up, you'll obviously spawn the lore boss that will be intruding on your treasure map, and he's likely the first boss that you'll be facing in the treasure map. But yeah, as I said before, I've already reached 5 million points, over 5 million points, and I'm only on navigation level 12. I literally have like some of the best point booster teams currently, and it's making my life a lot easier. I will definitely say that. It is making things very, very easy along the way here. Having Legend Zephyr is a godsend, honestly. He just adds so much more points, and he's just really fun to use, actually. Zephyr is really fun. I might make a showcase video on Zephyr maybe after the treasure map. I'll have to you know, plan out what kind of content I can use him against, but I think I might want to try and plan out that but you know, if I had Capone as well, that would be kind of helpful, because Capone is a type booster, helps out a lot. You know, you know, a lot of people have already asked, you know, like, which is the best shooter captain in the game, and like, you really have to compare Zephyr, Capone, and obviously Dex Sabo as well, because I think that all 3 of them are like definitely worthy of being considered the best shooter captain in the game. Even V2 Lucci 6+ to a certain extent as well, I would agree there. I do think Capone is the best shooter captain in the game right now, but anyways, I digress. Let's get into actually the Intrusion battle against Lore. So the team I'm using here isn't very synergized at all. We're using a Zephyr captain with not a team of 6 shooter characters. I would not suggest this. However, this team is able to beat this treasure map Lore still, and it grants me a lot of points. I don't know if you guys saw, 18.9 times point boosting team. Yes, this is going to be a good team for a reasonable amount of time, maybe until that navigation level 20, maybe close to 30. This team probably won't work. Maybe less than 30. I don't think it'll get to 30, but I'll definitely have to change things up. And, you know, it's going to be easy to change things up on this team, for sure. But yeah, the first turn, you guys just saw that there is a preemptive attack that will go ahead and reduce the cooldowns of shooter characters and free spirit characters by a certain amount of turns. I didn't actually see how many turns he reduces their cooldown by, but it's very useful to bring shooters and free spirits to enable you to beat this content a little bit easier. The preemptive strike on turn 2, we basically get more negative orbs here. I'm actually going to use the Cavendish special here, because it will enable me to remove 2 of the negative orbs on my team. This character, man, it is just trash, but, you know, it enables us to get through this stage a little bit easier. We can see that it also reduces the enemy's defense to 0, which is kind of a useful effect, but it's not, like, needed at all. and we can beat that very easy. Having Frankie as the captain is very nice because it allows us to get somewhat of a boost on a team where, you know, the friend captain Zephyr doesn't boost our team at all. So it is what it is. But we're finally at Law now. Law has a preemptive attack of binding our captains for 4 turns and applying 2 turns of Rainbow Shield damage reduction, where this new rare recruit Iron is able to remove all turns of all the different debuffs that we have on our team right now. So that is very, very useful to have. And then on top of this as well, we can use both of our Zephyr specials to not only cut his health by 30%, and with the double Zephyr specials, it's a 50% health cut essentially, but we get a full board of matching to our shooters and tap tying bonus damage that is very, very useful. So as I said, we are going to be using both of our Zephyr specials, and on top of that as well, we can actually use our Frankie special, which not only gives us a type boost, but also cuts the enemy's health even more. So yeah, this is basically the way the team works, and then we can go ahead and tap and hopefully beat Law without ruining ourselves. Yeah, this team won't last that much longer, but it's going to last for a little bit amount of time. I will switch things up definitely. I don't really know how I'm going to switch it up, but I will be switching it up, maybe putting up maybe Treasure Map Boa as a captain, or I don't know, I'll figure something out, or I'll change out the Cavendish for another character. It'll give me less points, but it will be a little bit more synergized and work a little bit better, and we're able to get a lot of points from doing an 18 times team, nearly a 19 times point team against the Law boss as we go. 357,000, nice. Okay, so let's go ahead, move on with the treasure map, and I typically in the treasure map will like to go after the pathway that the Intrusion character unlocks in the mid-map. However, as I mentioned in my breakdown video talking about this specific treasure map, the preparation guide that you guys should have seen, I did mention in that video that Usopp and Luffy are definitely going to be the most difficult bosses to take on. So if you guys do not have a lot of the good treasure map characters for this particular treasure map, like the good trusty characters, I would suggest killing off Usopp and or Luffy in the mid-map to make your life a lot easier in this treasure map. But as you can see, we are going to be battling the mini-boss Beppo along the way here. Now, Beppo is actually pretty easy to beat. I wouldn't suggest beating him in the mid-map because he's actually very, very easy to beat. But the team that I'm using for this is actually another hybrid style team that enables me to get more points. So I'm using this brand new Cavendish as a friend captain, and I also have it as a sub on my own team to give me a pretty sizable boost. And it's like a shooter-ish team. Not everyone is a shooter. I think that like the only character that isn't a shooter is the 2 Cavendishes on the team. But this Cavendish, this new one, his captain effect, I believe, to my knowledge, is a 2.25 times attack boost to Quick and Psy. Now, we've only got 4 characters that are Quick and Psy, but this team is still able to get things done. We are going to just blow through this very, very quickly because it's a very, very straightforward mini-boss fight. So we're going to skip all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, so we're finally made it to the boss stage right now, and you can see Beppo has a whole bunch of mob characters surrounding him. They all have barriers as well. This is where Legend Frankie is exceptionally useful here, because he is able to go ahead and use his captain action with barrier penetration with his limit break to basically bypass it. We're going to use Katakuri here to give us a full board of matching orbs, aside from Cavendish, of course, because his classes do not fulfill with Katakuri. But then we can actually go ahead and use our Kid special ability to not only give us that end of turn damage that even if we don't kill Beppo, it still helps, but it also reduces the cooldown of our Frankie to then go ahead and use his special ability. And because we have the conditional boost with Katakuri, we can use our bins to go ahead and delay them all so that we can actually have a 1.75 times color affinity. And yeah, this team just destroys it. Just easily destroys it. And it's done. It's done. It's done. For a mid-map, this is going to be quite overkill, but obviously for a final boss fight, this will work for a reasonable amount of time with a 2.25 times type boost from Frankie, and also a 1.75 times color, not color affinity, but conditional boost. That's what I was talking about. Conditional boost, and we have the end of turn damage with Kid as well. So this team will definitely work for a reasonable amount of time. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and recover our stamina right here. I am out of stamina, but it's fine. You know, we'll go ahead and use a gem. No worries. I'm going to be using a lot of gems in this treasure map to try and grind in that top 500 spot. But we are going to be moving on here. We actually do get a rainbow chest. Can we get a tablet? We cannot. I have not gotten a tablet in this treasure map yet from dropping it, unfortunately. And I have actually gotten a lot of rainbow chests along the way. I just am unable to receive tablets for some reason this treasure map. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I have a lot of those blue tickets, actually. So if I actually needed a specific tablet, I could go ahead and just buy it. I have like 30, nearly 40,000 of those blue tickets, so I definitely don't need it. Getting the cooldown buff is actually ridiculously useful because a lot of my teams won't actually be ready if I don't stall, so I'm really actually happy that I got that. So now we can move on. We got 5, so we're going to skip over the rest and get to the Battle Rush. So the first boss that we're going to be taking on the Battle Rush is Sachi and Penguin. Now, the team I am using is a treasure map Shanks team, which is basically just a pure cerebral team, and I mean, this team just is able to beat it very, very easily, utilizing the character of Halloween Katakuri. Halloween Katakuri is definitely the most important character to bring for this boss fight because he basically counters everything that the boss does to you. So he's just ridiculously useful, and he's free to play. So you should have farmed him up. We're gonna go ahead and skip right ahead to the boss fight. I'll see you guys there. Alright, so we finally made it to the boss stage now. Sachi and Penguin, they will have a preemptive attack that will change your orbs into either bomb or empty, and they give you 3 turns of attack down. Now, luckily enough, Halloween Katakuri is just such a boss that he is able to completely remove all of these specific effects. He gives you all of the recovery orbs, he gives you a type boost, and he gets rid of the attack down. Literally, like, the best unit for this fight, and because we are so early on the treasure map, that's all we need to defeat this guy. Ridiculously easy to beat, but because we have the ability to get orb boost, we have a conditional boost with that Caesar character, and we also have tap timing bonus with Shanks. This team will destroy this boss fight for a very, very, very long time. I don't think I'll have to change this team whatsoever throughout the duration of this entire treasure map. It's going to be very, very easy. But now let's move on to the next boss. The next boss is going to be Usopp. I mentioned in my video, as I said earlier, that Usopp and Luffy are going to be very difficult to beat. The team that I am using is using a V2 Jinbei team along with the new Sanji character that has arrived in the treasure map. Sugafest. This Sanji character really isn't that great, but the only reason why I'm building a team like this is because he gives me more points. That's literally the only reason why we're doing it. You just saw that team there was 8 times multiplier on a freaking Battle Rush boss. That's crazy, man. An 8 times multiplier. I don't think I've ever had an 8 times multiplier on a boss rush fight. That's crazy. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's skip right ahead to the boss fight. See you guys there. Alright, it is boss fight time. So here we have Usopp. It looks very, very daunting right now. As soon as you enter the final room, there's just massive dudes everywhere. So here we have Hajuden, we have 2 additional giants, and Usopp is at the back here. Now, the preemptive attack, we have a target lock to Hajuden. We have to kill him first. We get reduced chain multiplier as well, and we get 4 turns of despair. So the way that I am getting around this right now is I'm going to be going ahead and using my oven special, which will go ahead and consume all the type orbs and deal damage to Hajuden. It is enough to kill him, does a crap ton of damage, as well as giving us an orb boost to Dex and Strength on our team. He also boosts quick orb effects as well, but obviously with Jinbei, we're not going to be having any quick units. We then have Chiffon to go ahead and remove the despair as well. Doesn't remove all the despair, but then we have Law to go ahead and do that, as well as do damage to one of the enemies, and that is the first time that one of those guys has survived from Law's special ability. I should have really used my Jinbei special first to reduce their health and then activate it. That would have made a lot more sense. Doesn't really matter at this point anyway. And then we can go ahead and attack, and it's GG. Like, this is going to work for a pretty decent amount of time as well, and for an 8 times multiplier, it makes me very, very happy. So the Usopp boss is completed. So now the last boss that we have to take on before the final boss is going to be Luffy. Luffy is quite challenging because he revives, and when he does revive, he has a lot of negative effects that you have to deal with, but we'll talk about Luffy when we get there. So the team I'm using against Luffy is a double version 1 Sanji team with Whitebeard, who's very, very good for the revive. We have the Kuma, who is also very good for the revive. Gecko Moria on this team is just a filler character because he is a 1.35 point booster, so why wouldn't I use him on a team? And the last character is Treasure Map Luffy, who is actually really good. He's a type booster for quick Dex and Int characters, and we have some of those characters available on this team, so they definitely help out a lot. Once again, we're going to skip through this, and I'll see you guys at the boss stage. Boss stage right now. So we are going to go ahead and use our Sanji team. We can see that we just jumped with Sanji before we entered the final boss room, which gives Sanji a very good boost. The preemptive attack of Luffy is very straightforward. He just gives you a full board of negative orbs. So we are going to be going ahead and using our Sanji special ability to go ahead and give us some matching orbs, as well as give us a combo boost as well. That's actually quite good. This team will work for a pretty reasonable amount of time as well. We are going to be using our Luffy special here for the type boost for our characters, and then we will be using our Whitebeard and Kuma special on the revive. But because we've jumped with Sanji, he just does crazy amounts of damage. 4 million damage with 2 taps. I mean, yeah, this is going to work for a pretty good amount of time. And we can see here that he does revive. When he does revive, he does 75% of his attack value as damage to you, as well as applying 3 turns of rainbow damage reduction, 3 turns of full immunity, and 99 turns or 98 turns of attack up. So we can go ahead and use Kuma here to go ahead and remove the damage reduction, and we could actually go ahead and use the Whitebeard special, because he now has a debuff protector that will allow us to get an orb boost against this guy. And then we can use Sanji once again if we need to get a little bit more matching orbs, because now Sanji doesn't have the jump effect active. So yeah, it won't actually really matter that much, but we can see boom and boom, 2 tapping once again. Yeah, this team's very, very solid, and I'm really, really happy with how it's actually worked out. And now we've finally beaten all the bosses. We can now talk about the final boss, which is going to be against Chopper. Alright, so we just jump straight into the fight now against Chopper, where we have our double Legend Zephyr team. We are utilizing the 2 new rare recruit characters as well, with Iron and Bins. Treasure Map Boa Hancock is also very useful here for stage 6, and we also have Perona here as well. The only reason why Perona's here is because she's a shooter, and she was also a 1.35 times point booster character. With this team, it doesn't really get around every single debuff. The best way to get around everything specifically would be to use a character like Limited Rare Recruit Usopp. Limited Rare Recruit Usopp is so good because you can use him on stage 6, and he gives you beneficial orb enable, which means that when you move on to the final boss stage on stage 7, you won't have your quick orbs counted as negative, so your Zephyrs won't get negative orbs. So that is one way to go ahead and get around that specifically. But not everyone is going to have access to not only Legend Zephyr, but also Limited Rare Recruit Usopp. But this team is still able to beat it. Actually, it's going to last for a reasonable amount of time. But here we are here at stage 6. Now, the stage 6 Chopper will go ahead and apply 3 turns of damage threshold, and he also reduces your recovery for 99 turns, and for 10 turns, quick and recovery orbs are going to be appearing more often, and it's annoying because on the final boss stage, those are going to be coming negative. We can actually go ahead and use our Boa Hancock special. That's what we want to use because it removes 2 turns of damage threshold, but she has double special activation, so we can go ahead and use her twice, completely get rid of all of the damage threshold, and then we will go ahead and use our Zephyr special. And the reason for that is because you have to make sure that the final boss, or this boss in particular, has less than 80% health, because when you activate Bin's special, if the enemy is below 80% health, you get 3 turns of orb boost, and you really need to do it here, because on the final boss room, if you activate any orb boosting special, they'll go ahead and slot bind you for 10 turns. So now we move on to the final boss fight with Chopper, and they're going to go ahead and make your quick and recovery orbs negative for 6 turns or for 5 turns, and then also have 2 turns of defense shield. So we can use our Iron special ability to go ahead and remove that blue defense shield, and then we can use our Zephyr special ability to cut his health and also give us the very, very juicy tap timing bonus damage. And that's basically it. That's all I really have to do for now. When it gets to a very difficult stage, I might actually go ahead and try and save my Zephyr special, so I have 2 Zephyr specials on this stage, and then just do tap timing on stage 6 to get him under 80% for Bin's special. I think that should be able to work quite fine. But yeah, this team, 14 times multiplier for points, and basically a cakewalk. And this is basically all the teams I've been using so far. And it's working very, very well. So I'm going to continue to use these teams and hopefully get to top 500 positioning to get 2 additional Sugo Fest exclusive characters. But that's basically it, guys. So that is the full rundown and playthrough of Treasure Map Lore. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button down below, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.